Hello, we are live, I believe. Hello, and thank you for joining me for another series. I'm doing a three-part series entitled Thriving versus Surviving. Where do you stand? When I think about thriving versus surviving, I think about the theory and the research of doctors John and Julie Gottman and their description of connection for couples that they call the emotional bank account. Now, I love this metaphor because they compare it to having a bank account. Like when you make deposits, then that's a plus because you're putting something, investing something. Now, when you make a withdrawal, then your bank balance goes down. So the same thing happens in relationships according to this theory that when you make deposits of goodwill with each other, gestures, treating each other in positive ways, you're making positive deposits in your relationship bank. And anytime there is, well, not necessarily is conflict, but what happens during the conflict, if it's not worked through, if it's not resolved, then there are deposits because the way that one or both partners show up is maybe frustrating, maybe hurtful, maybe scary, and that takes the goodwill out of the emotional bank account. So in these three examples during these three series, I'm going to share with you the value of making these deposits and giving examples of where couples are right now in terms of the categories of thriving, surviving, or some place in between, and what they can do about it to make that bank account stronger and make those investments more consistently so that they thrive together. Because having this information, I think, just like when I shared the keys, it just gives more resources, excuse me, for adding more value to a relationship of two people who really care about each other. Okay, so let's get started. So I'm going to give you an example of a couple. I like giving examples of couples. And so I'm going to call this couple Reggie and Regina. Now, Reggie and Regina have been married for 25 years. Excuse me. And they have three children, teenagers, 14, 16, and 18. So they were doing okay for a while, but they had an issue that was simmering beneath the surface that exploded. So here's what happened. Regina received a call from a woman who said to her that she had been having an affair with Reggie for over a year. And not only did she share that she had been having an affair, but she would share places that they went to, things that they did together, just so that Regina would know that she was telling the truth. So, of course, that was upsetting to Regina. And she couldn't wait for Reggie to get home. It was after work. He had gone to the gym, or she thought that after hearing about the affair, she thought he went to the gym. But she was waiting for him to come home so that she could share this with him, actually so that she could confront him. And confront him, she did. So this is a place where the relationship can go either way. But I want to start off talking about where it is now in terms of what happened when Regina confronted Reggie. So the first thing that he did was deny it. And so when Regina gave details about what she learned about this other woman and Reggie being together, then there was nothing that Reggie could say, well, unless he wanted to deny it again. But he knew that she had the facts. So stunned and embarrassed, sheepishly, Reggie said, I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. It was just sex. Regina said, just sex? You got to be kidding me. How naive do you think I am? Now I know why I can't meet you after work when you say that you're going out with the boys, or when you say that you are going to the gym. Because some of those times when you said that you were at those places, you were with her. And then what makes it worse is like you come home and you sleep in the same bed with me after you've been with her. And then you tell me that when I want something special, and it doesn't have to be a big thing, you'll tell me we don't have enough money. She said, no wonder we don't have enough money. It's because you're spending it on her. You're spending it on her. Who are you? How dare you? And so she goes on for quite a long time. I mean, she's really hurt. She's really hurt. And so Reggie just sits there and listens quietly, hanging his head down. And then she gets to the place that she's just run out of words. And then she just said, just get out of my face. I can't stand you right now. And don't dare go into that bedroom and get into our bed. You will not be sleeping with me tonight, maybe tomorrow night, maybe not ever. I don't know, but you got to go. And so, needless to say, there was much tension in the house. Now, the teenagers were in their rooms when this was going on, so they could hear that there was tension going on downstairs. Excuse me, but they didn't leave their rooms to find out what was going on. I mean, this is really upsetting for kids when they hear their parents having arguments and going through things. And so for the next few days, or the next weeks, really, there was so much tension between Reggie and Regina. It's like you could cut it with a knife. So at this point, they really are in survival stage, barely surviving, because Regina doesn't know what she wants to do. Reggie wants to fix this. He just wants to say, I'm sorry, and this will go away, which will not work. And so Regina needs time to get through all of these feelings. And so, but she functions because they're both working full-time jobs and they're parenting, what have you. So she functions, well, they function as best they can. Regina continues to do her chores at home and prepare the meals. And so she has meals with the children. Now, the first time, the next day, when Reggie came to the table, it was so awkward. It was so awkward. And the children, the teenagers, they didn't know what to say. So not much was said. So after that, Reggie had dinner before he came home because he knew that there would not be a warm atmosphere there. So one day, Reggie writes a letter to Regina saying again how sorry he is and what an idiot he was for having an affair. And he said, if there's anything that I can do to make this up to you, anything, I'll do it. And so at this point, Regina is not even sure she wants to talk to him right now, but she is talking to her friends, and she did talk to a therapist. Now, she was too embarrassed to tell her family because they were like the ideal couple that everybody wanted to be like. And it was like that image just went downhill. And so one thing that came up for her during her therapy was that she realized that they went into survival mode before the affair, because before the affair, she had been building up resentment with Reggie because she was under so much stress. They're both working every day, but then she comes home and then she has another job, taking care of the kids, household chores, preparing the meals, making sure things were in order, taking care of other things. When Reggie gets home from work, after he goes out with the boys or goes to the gym, he comes home, sits in front of the TV, has the remote control, and sometimes falls asleep until he's ready to go to bed. And many times when he's ready to go to bed, he wants to have sex. And so Regina is saying, oh no, you haven't helped me with anything. And you want to have sex with me? You are out of your mind. So this has been happening for maybe a year before the affair. So she was ready and willing to own what had happened for her that led to her withdrawing from him. And so one day, I think it was like a month later, maybe about a month later, maybe a month and a half later, with the therapy, with processing with her friends, with thinking things through. She was thinking, do I really want this marriage? Do I really want this man after he betrayed me? So she thought about it and she thought about it and she said, yeah, I really do. I really do love him. And I can't have this happen again. I cannot have this happen again. So I'm open to anything that's going to help us to get through this. So, of course, Reggie was happy to hear this because he didn't want to lose his marriage. He didn't want to lose Regina. And so he said he would do anything. So he found a program. It was a group program where the two of them could learn some things about relationships. Maybe one of the things that they learned about was how to put more deposits in your relationship and what to do effectively when there are withdrawals, so that those withdrawals could be, if there was hurt or something in the emotional side, that they could be repaired and then redeposit, kind of thing. So he found this program and he said, he shared with Regina, he said, we'll be able to learn together in a group, but when we do the exercises, we'll be able to work privately. So nobody will be in our business, and we'll still have the connection of other couples who are working together. And that's one of the things that Jesse and I found when we did our live weekend workshops, is that when couples came for that weekend, they had their personal issues that they were working through, and they found value in working in learning in a group, and then doing their work privately. And there were many of the couples who bonded because of being in that group setting and having like a community. So Regina was up for it. And so they took the program and they started getting results. So their results in terms of this metaphor about the deposits. So let's say one of the deposits that Reggie made was that he was no longer ignoring Regina's needs and just thinking about what he wanted. He was just thinking about what he wanted. He thought that was okay. It didn't occur to him, being in a relationship and being married to another person and having a partner, that she had needs first. Now, during the romantic stage, it was really easy. It was really easy for him. But after they got married and over time, he became self-absorbed in what was going to work for him. That's the way that he dealt with his day-to-day stress in terms of work and life. And so he also hired a housekeeper. Now, Regina had asked for a housekeeper for a long time, and it was not like they couldn't afford it. He just didn't think they needed it. Well, he didn't think they needed it because she was doing all the work, because he wasn't. So in addition to hiring a housekeeper, he also began to help to help Regina out at home. So that was one deposit. So the second deposit was from Regina. So all of that resentment that built up over time, she wasn't really clear about what it was that she wanted. When she did bring it up, she brought it up in anger. And so Reggie shut down and didn't hear what she was saying, just shut her out, right? So, and she did ask, or she did complain for a long time, but she didn't really share with Reggie in a way that he could hear it. And the other part is, and a lot of women do this, she expected Reggie to, excuse me, read her mind about what she wanted. So that was the second deposit. So the third deposit was they started talking about the bigger picture of what they wanted their everlasting, happily ever after to look like and feel like. In other words, they came up with a vision of how they wanted their marriage to be moving forward. So that's all well and good. Regina liked all of this, and she was still processing whether she wanted to move forward. She was willing to move forward, but she had to see consistency from Reggie that he was going to follow through on what he said. So the deposits were really important because the deposits helped them to shift out of barely surviving into a place of hope to move to the next stage, So they begin to realize that the affair was a wake-up call for them to take a really realistic, authentic look at their marriage and look at what was working and what was not working. It wasn't just the affair, and the affair was big. Other things were not working either, and they just weren't discussed. They never came up. They were just pushed beneath the surface. So when they did the exercises in the program, when they listened to the concepts that were presented, and then when they did the exercises, they began to talk to each other, share with each other in a way that the other person could hear, and listen in a way that the other person felt heard, which is the foundation for making a pivot when things are off track to getting them back on track. People talk about how important communication is. This part is first. This part is crucial to be able to have a structured, safe way of sharing and listening. And so they also, since they had a vision, they were also in a position to make a plan about what they were actually going to do to bridge the gap from where they are to where they wanted to be, with very specific milestones. And so they felt pretty good about that. And they are now still in the process of bridging the gap. They're not where they used to be, but they are moving forward. So this example of Reggie and Regina, I have a question for you. And that is, can you relate to Reggie and Regina? Do you feel like the two of you are barely surviving in your marriage or your love relationship because something is lacking, like emotional connection, like communication problems? Like there's a lot of, when you try to talk about something, there's a lot of criticism, finger pointing, judgment, and that kind of thing. Are you struggling because there's financial stress? Or maybe there is infidelity, or maybe there's just a conflict in values and goals. So if the answer is yes, then my next question is, are you ready to get results like Reggie and Regina? And if the answer to that question is yes, I'd like to have a conversation with both of you about how you can shift gears like Reggie and Regina did. I am developing a new program that I'm very, very excited about. It's a program where you would receive tools like Reggie and Regina to make more deposits in your emotional bank account while you're working through whatever the barriers you are having right now to long-lasting love and or enjoying a relationship that thrives. And so it's a program where both of you, along with other couples, would become founding members. It's because it's a brand new program. And so since it's brand new, then the couples who join me now will receive special perks for being a part of the program. Because the program is going to, the enrollment is going to go up the next time that I offer it. So you and other couples, if you decide that you want to enroll, you and other couples will work directly with me. We will work together to develop this program, because I have the ideas about what I think would work. But what would make it better is if there is a group of couples working with me, so that we together are making this the best program that it can be. Now, here's another perk, that the special enrollment fee is almost 1/4 of what it will be when it's offered again. 1/4 of what the cost will be when it's offered next time. And then there's a third perk, and that is that you'll have lifetime access to any and everything new that is developed after the program. So you have access to what we create together during the program, and then because as time goes on, things evolve. So whatever that is, you'll have access to that at no extra cost. And there's more. But for now, if this sounds like something that would be of interest to you, something that would support you, to help you to get results like Reggie and Regina, let's have a conversation. Let's have a conversation about it. I'm going to put the link to setting up a complimentary telephone conversation with me, so I can share with you more about the program, and we can see, working together or during that time together, whether this is a good fit for you. Now, if there's a problem with any of the times on the calendar, if any of those times do not work for you, let me know and we'll figure something out. What I know and what I care about is that couples deserve to have a long-lasting relationship that thrives. You deserve it. Look, I'm going to tell you the truth. I know what it's like. And I want, I'm such a romantic. I want everybody to have it. So I would like for you to join me, and I'm going to put the link. So we just completed part 1. Next time I'm going to share with you the journey of another country, the adventure of another couple. They're like in between thriving and surviving, and the steps that they took. Thanks again for joining me. I'll see you next time. Hope to have a conversation with you. Take care.